Now, one of my favorite non-gun YouTubers is Epic Rap Battles of History, or at least it was until they started getting all political. And I didn't care too much for a lot of the pop culture ones that came out, but I did love the history Epic Rap Battles. But one that they never did, and that I would love to see, would be John Moses Browning versus Gaston Glock. Welcome to the Millsurf Mike channel. Today I want to give some advice to those looking to purchase their first new 1911. Now, I'm by no means an expert, and some might say I just know enough to make me dangerous, but I've owned enough and put a round through a few, as well as keeping an eye on others' experience, which helps me give at least some credible advice, and yes, I also have some biases too. Now I'm going to stick to talking about the $1,000 plus or minus guns. So there won't be any Dan Wessons, Wilson Combats, or Nighthawks discussed in this video. If you're looking for one of those, you're beyond what this video can advise you anyway. I'm sticking with new 1911s for this video and not 1911 clones. Like my little SIG P238, I mean that's roughly based off of 1911, so that won't be a subject of this video. The Star BM that I did a video on previously, this is not going to be considered for this video, or my my vintage U.S. property 1911 that you've seen in many videos. This is also not for this video either. So basically, we're just going to stick to the new ones. So let me move these out of the way real quick and get the ones that will be subject to this video. Now first off, 1911s come in several calibers. I have a Colt XSE in 9mm, a Colt Delta Elite in 10mm, as well as mini in 45 ACP. Now if you're looking for your first gun, or just a first 1911, I would say stick with the classic and go with the 45 ACP, especially if you're on a budget. The 1911 was developed specifically for the 45 ACP, and the 45 ACP was developed for the 5-inch barrel, so the round and the pistol are match made in heaven, and there are less chances for malfunctions. 9mm 1911s, especially the budget variety, are notorious for malfunctions. So if you're on a budget and want a 9mm, I would advise you to get a pistol designed for the 9mm, such as a Glock 1719, Beretta 92 series, or SIG 320. All are quality guns that you can buy for what a budget and unreliable 9mm 1911 will cost. Now, I wanted one just to have one, so that's why I got this Colt XSE, but this is definitely not a budget 9mm 1911. This runs in, I've seen it anywhere from the $1,100 to $1,300 range. And a quality 10mm and even 357 Magnum 1911s like the Coonan will cost much more money than many entry-level buyers are willing to pay. Now, my Colt Delta Elite 10mm, I got this to basically be my backup gun for deer hunting, and if I ever go hog hunting, I'd want this as a pistol. I mean, this packs quite a wallet. Now, there are some budget 10mm out there. I know RIA makes one. I definitely wouldn't consider that. I wouldn't consider RIA, period, actually. And Ruger has now come out with the 10mm, but breaking it down is like if you're used to 1911s, the Delta Elite will field strip like a normal 1911, whereas the Ruger does not. So if you're on a halfway on a budget and want to own a 1911, 45 ACP is your best bet. Now to brands and different price points. And as I said, I'm kind of aiming toward the first time buyer with this video, so I'll assume a budget of $1,000 plus or minus. Now when looking at price, I would advise staying away from 1911s that cost under $600. I know that I may get comments from those of you who swear by your American Tacticals, Taurus, or RIAs, but these are still a crapshoot. On many Tauruses, you can just shake it and hear how badly it rattles. An American Tactical or Chiapas are the equivalent to buying a brand new Mitsubishi Barrage. You may have a new car, but good luck getting a long life out of it without putting lots of money into it. Now, if you only have $400, wait and save up another $200 or $300 and you'll be glad you did. Here's where I highly recommend the Ruger SR 1911. Now, I've had mine since they pretty much came out, and I have 2,000 to 3,000 rounds to this, and I've had no complaints of factory ammo. Ruger makes an excellent 1911 for $650 to $700 depending on where you're at. And not only have I had great luck with mine, but in general these have an excellent reputation. I've called them the Corvette of 1911s. You get an exponentially better gun than something that costs only $100 less, and you get 95% of the gun that costs twice as much. Also at the same price point are two brands that you would not catch me dead with. The Remington R1 and the entry Springfield models. When it comes to Remington, I cannot in good conscience recommend any Freedom Group firearm. You've heard me complain about them over the years, so I'm not going to get into that again. But just stay away from Freedom Group. They've had some notorious flops because of their QC department, and just stay away from them. Now, Springfield Armory, as for what they did in Illinois when they sold out gun owners and FFL holders at their own expense, I will not recommend any Springfield Armory ever. Now, there's a couple other brands out there. I do not own a Smith & Wesson, but they have a pretty decent reputation, so if you want a Smith & Wesson 1911, they're fine. I haven't owned one. I might one of these days, but as you can see, I got plenty right now. Now, if you want to go up in price a little bit, you can buy an excellent 1911 in the various Sig Sauer models and introductory Colts. My favorite Sig 1911 is the Sig Scorpion, and luckily they started selling these again at Cabela's. So you can actually find these again. There's a good couple year stint there where you cannot find these at all. But I like these. Their SIGs are a good quality gun. But if you're looking for something that looks more like a classic 1911, like my Ruger, my Colt, they also make those. And of course, the SIG line, they have one that's, I'm not even sure what this is called. I'm not sure if this is a Nightmare or what, but they also have, one in that color scheme. Also, in the sub $1,000 range, you can also start getting into introductory Colts, and Colts have a good reputation for 1911, so I'm okay with that. Now, if you want to, one 1911 that I haven't mentioned yet, that I'm sure everybody's wondering about, is Kimber. To me, Kimber makes an excellent $600 1911 that they charge $1,000 for. They are way overpriced. Perhaps they have to pay for the full-page ad on the back of every gun magazine that's ever been made. So, Kimbers are highly overrated. People that I know 3 or 4 people personally who own them who aren't happy with them. Just stick with Ruger, Sig, Colt, Smith & Wesson. I would not recommend a Kimber. Basically, to me, buying a Kimber is let's say you buy a $400 ATI, your expectations are low, but if it works well, you're pleasantly surprised. It's kind of like buying a Chevy Cavalier that goes for over 300,000 miles. On the other hand, when you pay $1,000 for a Kimber, you expect it to run, and many times Kimbers are crapped out on people, so just stay away. So I guess in summary, for 1911s, get 45 ACP, make $600 your basement for looking at a new 1911, and you really can't go wrong with Ruger, Sig, or Colt. Like I said, there's other brands that I really haven't gone over much, like Smith & Wesson, and I know there's some out there that'll disagree with me on the brands that I've told you to stay away from, but like I said, if you stick with Ruger, Sig, Colt, or Smith & Wesson, you'll be happy. So anyway, if you like what you see, check out some of my other videos. Comment, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.